Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints are going through OTAs, as is the rest of the NFL right now. And it was an interesting time to bring up a question that I think is going to define the New Orleans Saints season. We've talked about the Saints schedule and how they have the easiest strength of schedule based on opponents' win percentage from a year ago, tied with Atlanta for the easiest strength of schedule. We ran through the order of not just who they play, but when and where they play them. And look, it's a tough early season schedule. Very likely going to start 1-4, unless if you manage to upset somebody. But you have a real sincere opportunity to make a run late. But I think we all agree Dennis Allen, while there's conflicting views on how competent he is as a head coach, we all agree great defensive coordinator. Really good defensive mind. And as long as Dennis Allen is in New Orleans, you're going to have good defenses, at least capable, competent defenses. The question about the New Orleans Saints that will define this season, do they go over the 7.5 wins that Vegas is projecting? Do they get back to the playoffs? The question that will define the season, the answer to that question is, are the Saints better offensively today than they were last year? And what's so interesting to me, and this came up because CBS has an interesting piece up where they used a grading system with a lot of different offensive metrics to rate the offensive infrastructure of all 32 NFL teams. Now, I'm going to tell you what the statistics on field say first, and then we're going to look at them against the CBS metric. So, a year ago, the New Orleans Saints, a team that was 9-8, right? They had a winning record, first winning record in Dennis Allen's career as a head coach. But I think we all agree that 9-8 was not impressive. They won 4 of their last 5, and they did it against some of the worst competition in the NFL, which basically only proves that you're not the worst team in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints a year ago were 14th in the league in total offense. Not elite, but not terrible. You're in the top half of the league in total offense. Saints were 9th in scoring offense. 9th. Top 10 in scoring offense. 11th in pass, and 21st against the run. So, and 21st in rush offense. You really struggle to run the football like that much. We know, right? You had some injuries. Jamal Williams didn't have a rushing touchdown until the controversial touchdown at the end of the season against Atlanta. So, when I run through those numbers, it might surprise you a little bit. 14th in total offense, 9th in scoring offense is actually more than respectable. But they were 9-8. And I know I have this feeling like the Saints will be sub 500, and I think Dennis Allen's going to get fired. That's my feeling on how this is going to go. But I look at those numbers and I say, okay, well, did the Saints get better or worse? Well, if you look at these metrics from CBS, this is what's interesting to me. They put a metric behind rating your quarterback, your play caller, your offensive line, your wide receiver, tight ends, your running back. Then give you a total grade, a weighted grade, and then your non-quarterback grade. I know that's a lot. I don't need you to memorize that or anything like that. I'm just putting into perspective how they sort of assigned all these. Well, in the 5th tier, there are 6 tiers. The Saints fall in tier 5. Steelers and Giants are tied at 27. Commanders 26. Seahawks 25. Bucks and Saints 23. So this CBS metric, and I'm going to go through it a little bit more here deeply, are saying that the New Orleans Saints are the 23rd best offense in the NFL. And they rate each of those things I just talked about from a 1 to a 5. So, for example, quarterback, they give the Saints a 3. Same number they gave the Commanders with a rookie, Jaden Daniels. Same number they gave Seattle with Geno Smith. Same number they gave Tampa with Baker Mayfield. Same number they gave the Bears with a rookie quarterback and Caleb Williams. Same number they gave the Colts with a very unsettled quarterback situation, to say the very least. Probably Anthony Richardson, who missed all of last year essentially with injury. Same number as the Browns, which is kind of a downsell on Deshaun Watson, but probably justified. So a 3 out of 5 at quarterback with Derek Carr. They gave Klint Kubiak a 3. 3 out of 5 as the play caller. Offensive line, 3.5, which is a little surprising that you'd have the offensive line rated where they are when Dennis Allen's point blank said there's only 2 positions they feel good about on the line. Wide receiver, tight end, 3.5. Running back, 3.5. The total offensive score of 16.5. A weighted grade of 3.23. And the non-quarterback grade of 3.25. So actually your non-quarterback grade higher than your quarterback grade. But ultimately, you could look at this and see the company that the Saints keep in that respect. So for me, when I look at that question, are the Saints better or worse than they were a year ago? Is Derek Carr better this year than last year? And I don't know the answer to that. And it was interesting. Carr, when he met with reporters on Tuesday, talked about being in this Kubiak system and the advantage this year as opposed to last year.
There is excitement, absolutely. The cool part about this time is we're all learning together. And there's something about going through it together. Like last year, I'm the guy learning everything new. I'm trying to play catch up while everyone's helping me. But the cool part about this is we're all starting over. And then I feel more of that leadership, that coaching role now. And so that excitement of, no, it's like this and that. But when you do something like that together, that brotherhood and that unity, it gets even tighter.
Now, we did talk about it. Year 2 for Derek Carr in New Orleans, in theory, you would think is better. But we went through this. Veteran quarterbacks who went to a new place and actually had a better year 1 than they did year 2. So the history there, I don't know that necessarily lines up or matches up with the theory of year 2 you're going to be better. But what Carr's saying is, Kubiak's the new guy, and we're all learning this together. It's essentially just one new guy, where everybody's the same, as opposed to him coming in as the trigger man where everything else was the same and he had to come in and adapt to everybody else. So there is some validity to that. So I'd look at it really and say the variable here is Klint Kubiak. Like, that is the variable. Michael Thomas, look at what's gone. Michael Thomas is gone. Andrews Pete is gone. James Hurst is gone. Ryan Ramczyk might be done. Pete Carmichael is gone. You've added Kubiak and Fuanga. And then look, there's some veteran offensive linemen and receivers. Cedric Wilson, like some of these guys that we're going to see if they even make the team, right? But it's just the question around this offense is singular. And I understand quarterback's the most important position, but I've talked about, there's a large enough sample size on Derek Carr to know what he is. What at his best, he's a borderline top 10 quarterback. At his worst, he's a 20s quarterback in the NFL. So can a borderline top 10 quarterback, if Carr's at his best, get you to where you want to go? Well, that's going to center around Klint Kubiak, making him his best. And Dennis Allen has had good things to say so far about Klint Kubiak.
The attention to detail and holding guys accountable to those details. I think that's something that, he's really brought to the table for our group. And I think it's been good, and I think our players and I think our coaches are embracing that.
Kubiak, of course, we know is from the Shanahan-McVay tree, and it's going to be fascinating to see how he adjusts and adapts to this personnel, something we're going to have a lot of conversation around as we move throughout this offseason, and how it looks with Kubiak here in New Orleans and how different the offense looks, and we're all adjusting to it. We're all going to be adjusting to this because this is the first time since 2006 you haven't had Peyton or Carmichael running this offense. Is that going to be a plus or a minus for Derek Carr and then the domino effect throughout the rest? It's just really interesting to see the stats of a year ago are better than what the CBS metrics are projecting for this Saints offense, and I don't know how you can objectively look and say the offense is going to be worse. I think they're going to be better. How much better? Is that enough to make you a winning team? I don't know. And that's going to be the gray area, the gap that Klint Kubiak's going to have to fix or answer. See how much he can skew the Saints to the plus side of that gray matter instead of the negative side. So moving through OTAs, the first real big step of this offseason for New Orleans with Klint Kubiak calling the shots. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.